Hello everybody and welcome back to another draft video analysis. This is the draft video analysis for the NPC, the National Pokemon Competitive Conference, I believe. Don't quote me on that, I'm not 100% certain. But we did our draft over the past week, and this is a draft based on the GBA's draft-based format. So basically you get one Tier 1 Mon, you get, you're required to have one Tier 1 Mon, one Tier 2 Mon, two 3-tier Mons, one Tier 4 Mon, and one Tier 5 Mon, and you are required to pick a Mega. So if you get a Mega, you gotta have a Mega. And then you are given 400 points to work with to draft 4 free Pokemon. So they can be from any tier. They can be from, they can't be a Mega, obviously. You can only have one Mega. But they can be from any tier. Each tier costs a different amount of points. Tier 1 costs 180. Tier 2 costs 120. Tier 3 costs 100. Tier 4 costs 60. And Tier 5, and then anything that isn't in Tier 5, so say like, I don't know, fucking Clamperl, the god of Pokemon, is worth 40 points, which I think is a pretty fucking good deal. So I'm just going to be going over my draft and why I drafted these mons and in what order I drafted them. I guess the order doesn't really matter on why I drafted them, so let's not worry about that too much. So the first mon I decided to get, I originally had a plan where I wanted to get a Fire Water Grass Core with the some of the Pixies, and I was gonna get Manaphy, Victini, and then Shaman, which is actually fucking tier 3 in this league. Like, what the fuck? I mean, it's not the greatest, but it should at least be tier 2. Come on. But anyways, once Manaphy, it was literally drafted first pick, so that plan literally went out the window, like, as soon as I got it. What am I doing to my hair? So, Manaphy got drafted literally first pick in my division. Oh, and by the way, each division has a separate draft. So, if you get... So, say the Sun Division drafts a Manaphy, the Moon Division can still draft a Manaphy, which did happen. Like, multiple mons were drafted. It just makes it even for both teams, and you don't have to keep track of like each person's team. But yeah, so I decided I wanted a hard-hitting steel type. I wanted something that can be decently fast. It was reliable and could do multiple different roles. So I decided to go with Excadrill. Excadrill right off the bat gives me that offensive steel typing that I want. It gives me an offensive ground type with Mold Breaker, Sand Rush. I don't know if it has any other abilities. Sand Rush, Sand Veils, and I don't know. But Excadrill gives me that. It gives me access to Rapid Spin and Stealth Rocks right off the bat. So if I need a Stealth Rocker, Excadrill can fill that role. If I need someone to Rapid Spin, he can fill that role. There's plenty of different sets I can run with Excadrill, like the Sand Rush Sweeper if I get a Sandmon with Life Orb. A Choice Scarf Mold Breaker, which is one of my favorites, actually. I mean, I ran that pretty much every game in Season 2 of the PPL. I could even run Choice Banded if I really need to be able to do a lot of damage. Excadrill's amazing. He's got a 110 HP stat, a 135 attack stat, which is fucking insane for a Pokemon that's not Mega. A 60 defense stat, 50 special attack, 65 special defense, and 88 speed. I don't know what it caps out as. At 100. I really should learn that stuff, honestly. Yeah. So the next mod I decided to get, moving on. The next mod I decided to get was a Fairy type. I needed a Fairy type right off the bat, and if I didn't get one soon, they would pretty much, all the good ones would go. That's what I realized in the PBL when I waited. I didn't get a bad one. I got Gardevoir, which isn't the greatest, but I could have had a much better fairy type. I could have literally gotten Sylveon, because Sylveon was not drafted. I could have gone Sylveon Excadrill, and I would have had the best time in BBL. Like, it wouldn't have been an issue. So I decided to go with Florges. Florges gives me Wish Passing. It gives me a mon that can use Aromatherapy. Most importantly, that pure fairy typing that I want. I don't like fairy types with a secondary typing unless it's like, I don't know, fairy. Does fairy resist fairy? I don't know. Fairy fire could be good, but that would make it weak to ground. But it would also make it neutral to steel. So yeah. Well, Florges also gives me a Calm Minds. Calm Minds is not really a sweeper, but it can sweep. It gives me just that. It gives me the bulk that I want. Like, if my other mons can't support themselves with recovery, Florges can Wish Pass into them and give me what I want. Florges has a base 78 HP stat, a 65 attack stat, a 68 defense stat, 112 special attack, and a fucking insane 154 special defense stat. I don't know if that's higher than Goodra's. What is Goodra's? I don't remember. I remember Goodra being the bulkiest fucking Pokemon there is. I think Goodra's like 170. I can't remember. Maybe 160. And a base 75 stat for a wall. That's pretty good. That's like mid tier. For a wall. Like, if I wanted to, I could easily slap a Choice Scarf on that just to outspeed like some bulky fairy type. Not fairy types. Some offensive fighting types with like poison coverage or something to take me out, which would be nice. I could totally do that. So moving on to my next mon, I had to draft 2 tier 3 mons, and I was looking at tier 3, and I was really hoping neither one of these would get sniped from me. Luckily they didn't. I could have also gone with a water type that was in this tier, but I thought I probably should get a speedy electric type. But the first one I went with was Tangrowth. Tangrowth gives me access to Regenerator. If I want, I can run a Chlorophyll Tangrowth to outspeed plenty of other stuff. No, it's Chlorophyll and just Regenerator. No, it gets like Leaf Guard or something. I have some stupid fucking ability that no one ever uses. Tangrowth is mostly there for knockoff Sleep Powder, Leech Seed, and just to give me that grass coverage. Oh, and Regenerator, if I want to, I can stall out plenty of mons by getting another Regenerator mon and just swapping in between the two. So say there's like a Mega Venusaur, I have Tangrowth, I swap out into, say, a Reuniclus, which has Regenerator, and swap in and out between those two. I mean, you'd probably get the predictions right at some point. It'd be like a 50-50 game, but it's still something that's insane to do. Tangrowth can be offensive. It's got a 100 HP stat, a 100 attack stat, 125 defense, 110 special attack, 50 in special defense, and speed, which is why they usually run Assault Vest on this mon. But, yeah, knockoff would make it easier. I prefer special set because, usually I'm going to be swapping this thing in on Scalds or water type moves in general. So, you don't want it to be burned, and if you get burned, it's going to lower your knockoff capabilities. Which I think the mon I pick next has some good synergy with this because it can swap into water type moves when it needs to. So my second tier 3 mon I decided to get was Heliolisk. Heliolisk gives me that, normal electric typing or electric normal typing. Unfortunately, I have a little bit of a weakness to fighting types at the moment, but that's not a big deal. I have a resist with Florges. A Heliolisk it got a really nice speed tiers, 109. It's not super amazing, but it can be outsped by things like the Lottie Twins, which is a problem most of the time because those things are horrible to deal with. So if you don't have one that outspeeds it naturally, you're obviously gonna have to bring a Choice Scarfed one. But Heliolisk gives me Stab Hyper Voice, which can break some subs as long as they're not Steel types and Ghost types. Obviously, Volt Switch Initiative, which is nice. I get tons of coverage. I think he gets Surf, Focus Blast, Dark Pulse, some fucking other moves that I don't remember. I'm sure it gets like... Oh, Hidden Power Dragon. It gets Hidden Power Dragon. But yeah, it's got a 62 HP stat, which isn't amazing, especially, you know, most electric types don't have a giant HP stat. It's 55 attack, which is fine, it's not going to be doing that much. 52 defense, 109 special attack, 94 special defense, and 109 speed, which is nice. Unfortunately, this thing is kind of walled by steel types for the majority of the time. Well, you have to rely on Focus Blast, which I hate doing. I really fucking hate Focus Blast, but if I need to, I'll run it. So yeah, for Heliolisk is nice. I still haven't decided names for the mons yet, so if you want to tell me some names for these mons, leave suggestions in the comment section below, and you know, it'd be nice if you guys left them, and not super stupid names. I want creative, maybe. You know, you name Heliolisk Dirty Sock, because it's literally a dry sock. That's stupid. So my tier 4 mon, I decided to go with a mon that could rapid spin, and it'll take the burden off Excadrill from rapid spinnings, because Excadrill can rapid spin, but you don't really want it to rapid spin. You want it to be able to attack, you want it to maybe set up a sword stance, you want to be able to do a lot with Excadrill. You just want to fire off hits all over the place. So Hitmontop with my mon. It gives me an Intimidate mon, so looking at my team, the defenses so far are kind of piss poor. Tank Growth being the only one with the highest at 125, but it gives me, I think, 95. No, Hitmontop is like 50. No, it is 95. Hitmontop gives me the 95 plus the Intimidate drop, so if I want to run physically defensive Hitmontop, I can. It gives a variety of what the hell is it? Priority moves, so it gives me Sucker Punch, gives me Rock Punch, which is pretty much all you need the majority of the time. Close Combat is nice, and then, like I said, Rapid Spin. It's very nice to use Rapid Spin with. So, let's see. Hitmontop has a base 50 HP stat, which isn't great for a wall, but, you know, that's why you run max HP. With 95 in attack, 95 in defense, 35 special attack, which is the lowest out of my entire team so far. 110 special defense and 17 speed. So a lot of my walls at the moment aren't super slow. I believe my slowest mon is later on, and it's not even going to be a wall. It's probably going to be a slow offensive mon. So Hitmontop gives me all the defensive needs that I need to counter fighting types. Not fighting types, more dark types and rock types, because Hitmontop can swap in on those and just use the Intimidate drop. As long as they're not special and go for like a super effective move, Hitmontop will usually live like one super effective move, as long as it's not maybe Stab. Yeah, by the way, these things, all these mons aren't in order on the way I drafted them. They were drafted a lot differently than how they show up on this. My tier 5 mon was a mon that I drafted second to last in the draft, and I didn't know if I needed it until afterwards and realized my team really doesn't like to handle bulky psychic types, barring like my mega pick. This mon gives me Pursuit, it gives me Sucker Punch, it gives me U-Turn, it's got a decent speed stat at 106, it gives me Prankster Taunter, Prankster T-Wave, and of course I'm talking about Liepard. Liepard's fucking amazing. I don't really know how to use Liepard at the moment, but I'm sure I'll get the feel of it. I've been testing a lot of the mons I've never used before on Pokemon Showdown, building teams around them, seeing what works with them, making it easy for them to do work. Like I said, Lipard gives me Prankster stuff, Prankster Copycat, Prankster T-Wave, Prankster Taunt, Toxic if I want to. What else does it do? Yeah, it U-turns and knockoffs, it sucker punches. It does everything a dark type should, plus the added capabilities of Prankster. And it's got, let's see its stats. Its stats aren't super great. It's mixed. Oh, it gets Nasty Plot too. I keep forgetting about that. It gets Nasty Plot, so it's got a 64 HP stat, 88 in attack and special attack, 50 in defense and special defense, and a 106 stat. So, you know, it's nice to do a little bit of speed tiering at the moment. A lot of my mons aren't super quick. It goes from like 110 down to the lowest, which is 30. Which is fine. I could run Trick Room every now and then if I want on that base 30 mon. So, the Mega Pick I decided to get, I wanted a Water type, and this Mega Pick gave me 40 extra points. Each Mega is based on like how good they are in the format. If you draft a Tier 1 Mega, you get no points back. A Tier 2 Mega, you get 4 points back. Tier 3 Mega, 60 points back, and a Tier 4 Mega, which I think there's only 3 in there, like Mega Camera Up, Sharpedo, and is it Mega Autono? I don't think it's Mega Autono. It's another Mega that isn't very good. But they give you plus 80. So I decided to go with Mega Blastoise. Now this gives me a third Rapid Spinner. It gives me Mon that can just fire off Scalds. And imagine if I run, with the team I have right now, I don't even have to run defensive or bulky Blastoise. I could run Speedy Mega Blastoise. I could run offensive with a max HP stat, and literally nothing wants to swap in on a Mega Blastoise. Mega Blastoise, if you have a Scald and you don't have a Mon to resist it, with all Mega Blastoise's insane coverage, it can 2-hit KO a lot of Mons on people's teams. So with Mega Blastoise, he's got Dark Pulse, Aura Sphere, Ice Beam, Scald, Hydro Pump, Rapid Spin, just a bunch of fucking other moves. Dragon Pulse if I want to, HP Dragon, that'd be nice. Water Pulse, because I believe for some reason I feel like Mega Launcher boosts the chance of like added stats on the moves, so maybe like a flinch happens more often on Dark Pulse, or confusion happens more often on Water Pulse. Yeah, it'd be nice, but Mega Blastoise gets a our rule for Megas. Our rule for Megas is that if you go for a move on your Megamon, yeah. If you go for a move on your Mega Pokemon, you have to Mega Evolve it. You cannot not Mega Evolve it. Literally, you can bring it in, and if you don't decide to go for a move, you can swap it out. But if you go in and say you go for a Scald with Mega Blastoise, you have to Mega Evolve. Which makes sense. So Blastoise has base 79 HP, which isn't terrible. 103 attack, 120 defense, 135 special attack, 50, no it's not 50 special defense, I'm reading it wrong, 115 special defense, and 78 in speed. So, I also forget to mention, I think Blastoise gets Aqua Jet too. I'm not 100% certain on that, but if I want, I can have priority. I mean, I have priority with Hitmontop, Liepard, and my next one that I get. But Blastoise gives me just that bulky water type. It also allows me to swap in on more knockoff Pokemon. So, if you guys don't know, you can't knock off a Megastone. Megastones cannot be knocked off regardless. You can't trick a Megastone, so it's a safe swap into a knockoff Mon. Maybe not Weavile, because it has Freeze Dry, and I don't know if it swaps into not Mega Mammal Swine. Mega Mammal Swine. Fucking broken. But yeah, it gives me swap-ins to that. So my next Fremon, I have all my tiers done at the moment, and remember these mons weren't picked in a particular order. Besides going from like higher tier to lowest tier. My next mon was Arcanine. Arcanine, I believe, is a tier 3 mon. Arcanine gives me extreme speed. It gives me Morning Sun if I need to. It gives me Flamethrower, Fire Blast, Flare Blitz. I could run Flame Charge if I want to. Will-O-Wisp. Well, a bunch of fucking other shit. I think it gets like Bulldoze or something like that. I don't think it gets EQ. It gets fucking Dragon Pulse. I will always remember that, Cyro. You tried to take on my Goodra with your Arcanine with only Dragon Pulse, which, if you had maybe Ice Fang, I think it gets Ice Fang, it gets Close Combat, it gets Crunch, gives me pretty much everything I need on Arcanine. It also gives me another Intimidate Mon, so if I wanted to run like a defensive Arcanine with him on top to take on like any Mon that's, a pain in the ass, I could. I would never swap these Mons in on, say, like a Bisharp or anything if I'm running that. So Arcanine can do a lot of work here. I just gotta stretch here. But yeah, Arcanine also gives me Flash Fire, which allows me to swap in on fire types if I want to. So it gives me nice synergy with Excadrill, Tangrowth, and Heliolisk, who also has Dry Skin, which makes him, I think it makes him basically weak to fire moves. It doesn't say super effective, but it does make him about do the same damage. But Arcanine is so versatile in draft format, and it's so underrated most of the time that if you don't prepare for it and for a certain set that is probably coming, then it can pretty much destroy your entire team. And a Flare Blitz to a Clefable, if you're like not even invested, will probably 2-hit KO. The next Mon I decided to get, I know I needed a little bit more bulk. Not that I needed a whole lot of bulk, but I needed a Mon that could be offensively bulky. I need a Mon that could take on fighting types, just swap into fighting type moves, and just reply in kind with the hardest hitting move ever. And I decided to go with, did I talk about Arcanine's stats? No, I didn't. Arcanine has base HP of 90. He has 110 attack. He has 80 defense, 100 special attack, 80 in special defense, and 95 in speed. So he's one of my higher speed tier Mons. Arcanine is pretty good. He has base 555, a max total of 555, I think, if my math is correct. Now, my next Mon, like I said, a bulky psychic type. It's very slow. It's extremely slow, which is nice because I can run Trick Room with my other team, which, looking at my other team, they're not super quick. They're like middle tier to low speed tier Mons. Reuniclus was this Mon. It gives me another Regenerator Mon. It gives me access to Magic Guard. I think it also gets like Overcoat or something. So it gives me a Trick Room Mon. It gives me a Psyshock and Psyshock Mon. So to take on like stuff like Mega Venusaur or other stuff like just any fighting type that wants to go for moves that doesn't have like dark coverage, which it can even take a bunch of dark type moves, and I can slap on a Colbur Berry, or is it Koba? One of the two, Colbur or Koba. I think Koba's for flying types, and I think Colbur is for fighting types. But it just allows me to do tons of work with this Reuniclus. I can set up Calm Minds if I want to. You can't Toxic it with Magic Guard. You can't. I mean, you can burn it with like non-status moves, but you can't directly status it, which is great. If I want to do like a stall thing with Tangrowth and Reuniclus, I can swap them in and out of each other just to be able to take hits and just stall out them on with like Toxic or something, and then just do a lot of work. So Reuniclus has a giant 110 HP stat, which is actually the same as Excadrill, which is really funny because Excadrill doesn't look like it has that much HP. With a 65 attack stat, 75 in defense, 125 in special attack, and 100 in, wait, am I reading this wrong? 85 in special defense, which none of its stats are terrible. Attack you're not going to be using, and it's got 30 which in speed, which is its only bad stat, which it doesn't even need that. If it was faster, then it would be so much more broken. Plus, Trick Room. Trick Room's fucking amazing on this thing. My next mon that I decided to get, by the way, I had, at this point, I had 220 points to work with between Reuniculus and Arcanine. Because you only get 400 total points to work with. And I decided to pick my last tier 1 mon, which was going to be Tyranitar. It gives me access to Sand with Sandstream. Yet another Stealth Rocking mon. I don't have a lot of hazards on my team, so Tyranitar can do a lot more with Stealth Rocks, and it's a bit bulkier. So if I want to run Stealth Rocks on this thing, I can. It gives me another Pursuit mon. It gives me a Setup Dragon Dance mon if I need to. Plus, it's a pseudo with like some of the highest stats ever, like in attack and defense and special defense. It's kind of insane how bulky this thing can be. You can run mixed attacking. You can run special or physical, especially defensive set, and tons of berries that you can put on this thing because it has so many weaknesses. A lot of the times you put on one of the berries that protect fighting types, and just does a lot of work. It allows me to stop bird spam. So with like Arcanine, Arcanine's not gonna take a Choice Banded Brave Bird from a Talonflame. Excadrill's not gonna appreciate the Choice Banded Brave Bird from a Talonflame. Florges isn't, Tangrowth isn't, Heliolisk isn't. I mean, it probably will take one, but it doesn't want to. Hitmontop is definitely not gonna take it. Liepard, definitely not. So Tyranitar is basically a swap-in for this. Gives me plenty of choices to go with if I want to run different sets. Could even run Ancient Power to get the random stat boost and like sweep randomly. So with that, I literally have 40 points to spend left, and that means I can only get a tier 5 mon. And I wanted a mon that could at least speed tie with the Lottie twins. It's not going to be able to do a whole lot of work to both of them. I mean, it might do a decent amount. But Archeops was my mon. I get it. It's not the greatest mon, but it gives me access to acrobatics. It gives me access to bird spam. Like, I think it gets Brave Bird. I'm not 100% certain. I could run Swords Dance if... I think it gets Swords Dance, but I'm not 100% certain. Yeah. Archeops just... It's not the greatest mon, and I probably should have planned out my tier 5 mons to be a little bit better, but I spent at least 30 to 40 minutes looking at the tier 4 mon, or tier 5 mons, and honestly, this is the only other thing that I needed on my team with the bird spam. Of course, it has the weakness to rocks, but I have 3 rapid spinners on my team, so I don't think hazards are going to be much of a problem for my Pokemon. My only problem is that it's got Defeatist, and Defeatist is one of the worst abilities ever to exist in this game. With its 75 HP stat, it's got 140 in attack. Defeatist, I'm pretty sure, cuts that in half, so it gives it like 70, which isn't horrible, but it's not 140 like you want it to be. It's got 65 in defense, 112 in special attack, which I was surprised about. I didn't really expect it to be that, especially offensive. It's got 65 in special defense and 110 in speed, which of course allows me to speed tie with the Lottie twins. So yeah, that just gives me plenty of options to go for. I'm really gonna have to try out Archeops. If I don't want it, I can drop it for another tier 5 mon. I honestly feel like this was the best tier 5 mon I could have gone with. My cat's rolling around on the floor. Anyways, so if you look at my mons, I'll give you one last run through for my team. So I've got Excadrill, Florges, Tangrowth, Heliolisk, Hitmontop, Liepard, Mega Blastoise, Arcanine, Reuniculus, Tyranitar, and Archeops. So let me know what you think of the team in the comment section down below. Also, consider subscribing if you're new to the channel and want to see this league's content. And I'll leave a link to the NPCC's Twitter, and you can find all the coaches from there and go subscribe to them if you want to watch their videos, which you probably should, because if you're just watching my videos, you're not going to get the full view of everyone else's. But thank you for watching, guys. It really means a lot that you guys are showing support on the channel, and I will see you guys in the next video. Later.